The last cool air of winter collides with the warm, moist air of spring, high above the central United States. Then, suddenly, terror. Smashing and twisting its way across the land with winds in excess of 200 miles per hour, a tornado strikes. In all of nature's fury, there is no windstorm as great or as deadly as the killer tornado. Below the spring clouds of the Midwest, there's a richness of life. Cities and farms bask in the warming sun. People enjoy their traditions and diversions. But always present is a particular fear. At any moment, tranquility can change to chaos, contentment to misery. This is the tornado season. And these people live in Tornado Alley. Statistics say that a city within a tornado area will be hit only once in every 250 years. Yet, Oklahoma City has been struck 32 times since 1892, and Codell, Kansas, 3 years in a row on the exact same date. In 1974, 148 tornadoes killed 300 people and injured 6,000 more across 13 states, all in the same day. Damage totaled $600 million. Tornadoes attack the land with circular winds that topple structures and send bits of metal and wood through the air with lethal velocity. It is not unusual for steel to be pierced by a fragment of wood or victims to vanish forever. The force within a tornado is equal to all the energy in the United States running full power for 5 minutes. Survivors of a recent tornado in Holton, Kansas, comment on their experience with the twister.
Everybody respects them, I believe. I know I sure do. You just never can tell what they will do or where they will hit. I know these tornadoes here, they hit, and they bounce up, and then they come back down just like rubber balls. You just know where they're going to hit next.
I think pretty much that they fear them, but yet they keep an eye on them. If the tornado's coming, a lot of them can see it 4 or 5 miles away, and they will keep an eye on it instead of going to the basement where they should go.
The worst disaster we had here was in the trailer, mobile home, and there was 4 people in it when the tornado hit it, and apparently they were not warned.
The trailer, it's set right up yonder, and as you can see, it was carried down here, and the frame sets over here, and it just looked like it picked it up and blew it up. They found a woman and a little girl approximately around a quarter of a mile from the scene. The father of the little girl, he died long in the night that same evening.
To millions of people, tornadoes are a frighteningly real part of everyday life. Each year, the United States suffers damage in the millions. The value of the lives lost is, of course, incalculable.
The tornado is the fiercest of all storms. Unlike the hurricane, it can unleash its fury with virtually no warning, bursting forth from the storm in an instant to ravage the earth for seconds or as long as 3 hours. Hoping to increase the crucial warning time the public needs to avoid tragedy, a counteroffensive is being waged by a dedicated group of men and women who are probing this mysterious and lethal phenomenon.
Well, what I've prepared here is a sketch of an actual thunderstorm. It's a vertical cross-section, and the red arrows here indicate the major updraft within the storm, and the blue indicates the downdraft.
Men such as Dr. Ernest Agee and his associates at Purdue University hope to answer the most basic question of all. What makes a tornado behave the way it does? Utilizing a tornado simulator, they seek clues to the cause of the devastating winds that form the tornado funnel. Although there is no one answer, most scientists acknowledge that it is the interaction of warm and cold fronts that produce the thunderstorm. Just what starts the clouds violently rotating is still not fully known. It could be a function of the Earth's rotation or some internal phenomenon within the storm itself. Observing the effects of a simulated tornado on this model city provides graphic evidence of the power of the wind and its vacuum effect on buildings. The National Severe Storms Laboratory in Norman, Oklahoma, lies in the heart of the nation's most active tornado area. Here, meteorologists, technicians, and students work toward eliminating the element of surprise in the tornado's attack.
Okay, still up there. Doug, can we have an ASRAN on the northwest circulation, please?
The still are maintained very high standard.
Locked in a race against death and destruction, they utilize radar, satellites, computers, and eyewitness observations to scan the skies throughout the year in order to anticipate disaster. By analyzing and interpreting data, they attempt to provide the crucial lead time that spells the difference between early warning and tragedy. During the tornado season, the day begins with interpretation of the satellite photo by meteorologist John Weaver. He must decide on the day's tornado outlook and advise the staff. The prognosis of today's photograph is not good, and the storm track down begins.
Upper vertical wind structure is conducive to tornado generation, winds increasing and varying with height. The maximum wind in this sounding, although it's not showing here, is 70 knots aloft. I do expect, as I say, there's a very high probability of tornado formation in any storms which fire up along this warm front north of the low.
22,000 miles in space, a satellite confirms the telltale signs of a towering thunderstorm, parent to the tornado.
Watch the circulation up here. It's updating now.
In a darkened room, a handful of men track and predict the storm, hoping to outguess its deadly intention.
Okay.
Look at that.
Might ought to call the weather service back and update them and call John.
And we got a forecast position on there.
Nerve center for the chase, they watch with mounting interest.
All right. Looks like we ought to do something on that.
Within minutes, the Storm Center issues an advisory.
This just in. The National Weather Service has just issued a storm watch for the following areas of Kansas: Jackson, Cook County, Maribel County.
Miles away, the skies only hint at what is to follow. With the storm's approach, citizens are warned to take cover, possibly for their lives.
This area is under a tornado alert.
go. It's already going up.
Racing against time, an intercept chase team heads out to find the storm system and document the tornado's formation without becoming victims themselves.
Must be the harvest season again.
Led by meteorologist Bob Davies Jones, students Kelvin Drogemeyer and Ken Carson spend their summer vacation heading straight toward danger. But adventure is not what spurs them on. It is knowing that they are part of a coordinated effort to save lives.